in 1 week, bro? What's with all this little nicey intro and these things? You got cooked by the Geordies, bro. You got cooked by the Geordies. I told you. These men were going to beat you. And you came in here, it's my trophy, this, that. You've done it again. You done it. You said that this was your trophy as well.
This was ours.
You did better last year with the kids.
We did.
You got smoked by the Geordies, man. What happened, man? What happened? A couple of weeks ago, you had the quadruple on, the treble on. Yeah? Oh, you're still going to win the league? Well, the way you're flipping at the moment, man, it's like you're trying to give people chances. What are you doing? But you're going to win the league, right? But, bro, what happened? Because they dominated you from start to finito.
We didn't really talk about your team.
It has been 25 minutes.
No, wait a minute, Flex. He didn't really answer the Mo Salah question, right? Why is it he's not turning up in these big games, in these big finals? Because if you're like a Ballon d'Or type guy, forget about me right now. Forget about us. I'm just asking you a valid question because the stats there. You love to come here and produce
but do you think
stats.
He's doing that on purpose?
Of course he's not doing it on purpose.
So he's
but
trying,
is that somebody...
but he's not getting the service around
Well,
him.
you can't win the Ballon d'Or by accident.
No, but you're normally talking about how he's giving the service to others.
Yes,
right?
But he doesn't get the service that he needs as well sometimes. I told you,
service?
Trent was
He
out.
needs
He's
feeding.
not getting that ball over the top.
I don't see Vinicius Junior craving for service. I see him taking the game by the scruff of the neck and saying, we are not losing today.
And he's done that hella times against you, especially. You should
This
know
is
that.
Can you stop making this about... This
No,
is very
but I
personal towards
understand
me.
why you're saying it.
I don't
get
know.
it. I get why you're saying this.
I'm a football fan, and we're talking about the Ballon d'Or.
Why is he not turning up?
I get why you're saying
it. You keep tailoring this to Man United. The Ballon d'Or is not about... I know it's hated.
I get why
never
you're
ignored.
saying it, though.
I know basically we're a club that
Makes
kind of is
sense.
bigger than the Ballon d'Or because we're the biggest club. I get that. But you haven't got to keep... It's not about Man United. I know we're up there.
And it's not about
it's not about that.
Mo Salah's up there for you.
This is an individual
You
award.
want him to go Saudi.
This is an individual award last time I checked. It's not a team thing.
Well, let's see how he
So
gets
stop
on.
concerning other teams.
He's
We're
still
talking
got the
about
most non-penalty goals in Europe
Mo
this season. So
Salah
why is he not turning up
and
in
why he's
finals?
not turning up.
Honestly, it's not like he's trying not to turn up. He just had a very, very poor game yesterday.
Over a series of games in
Yeah,
finals.
but let's not act like he's done nothing else in those games. Like he's won us a Champions League, he's scored in the final. Let's focus on the things he has done.
No, I'm
So did
read
Divock
that.
Origi.
Yeah, legend.
So did Divock Origi, mate. He scored in the same final.
Legend.
What we're talking about here is the discussion for the Ballon d'Or and why he's not getting it. That's
Let's
what we're
see
talking
what
about.
happens.
What do you mean,
If
let's
he
see
wins
what
the
happens?
Premier League and ends up with the most goals ever in a season, which he's on course to do, let's see what happens. You never know.
Still won't win the Ballon d'Or.
Wasn't
Okay,
enough for
well,
Haaland in a treble
exactly.
season.
We'll go
but
again next year. What do you want?
It's a shame.
That's his
I just think it's a
mentality.
shame. I wanted him.
What's a
I wanted
shame?
him to get it.
That-
you know, he's
Yeah.
not going to
But
get
he's let himself. He hasn't. You got to perform at the levels, haven't you?
it. That PSG game was crucial. Both legs, and just got locked up. And now Liverpool are out the Champions League. They're out of the
Happened
Carabao
the
Cup.
same thing last year. This kind of mid-March, we lost to Everton, lost to United in the Cup. It's definitely a thing that you need to stop. And then yesterday actually highlighted to me, we need a bit of a refresh. It might be 3 or 4 out and 4 or 5 in the
out?
summer.
Those attackers.
We'll have to do a separate video for that at the end of the season, like keep bench sell and that. But
Can I ask you guys a question?
I think maybe,
There's
listen,
there's
Jota's
quite a
been
few attackers
non-existent.
that are. I know we're talking about Salah, but where's Jota?
That's what I've just said.
Diaz.
Non-existent, bro.
Nunez
fallen off.
has
Non-existent,
always been
brother.
an issue, right? There's a
Gakpo's
lot of that
coming back
Liverpool
from
Robbie
attack.
Fowler said, I honestly don't think all of them will stay. But you said,
There you
what
go.
he said is they're all gone. That's what
I
exactly
honestly
what you said.
don't think they're going to stay. What does that mean?
But you said
He says, I
they're all
honestly... Wait a minute.
And that's just the
Wait a
the thing.
That's Sky, though.
actually
That's
listen
No,
not
to
wait
it.
a
Talksport,
minute,
though.
wait a minute. Right, I heard it on
That's
Talksport,
not
right?
Talksport,
But listen,
though.
that's the same thing. You may not have said the exact words I said. It's still the same thing. If he says, I honestly think... So I honestly... That means he's being sincere.
Means he's not lying.
I'm sincerely think they're not going to
Well, he
stay.
changed
What does
his
that do?
opinion then? Because last
Yeah,
2 weeks
well,
ago,
he told you.
me
He just
something
told you
else,
anything.
so-
Innit? Told you what you wanted to hear. You came up. Yeah,
No,
no,
it was
man.
off camera.
No, don't worry, man. They're staying, man. Yeah, man. Everything good. Right? And when you went up, he goes, "Hey, the God, you know." But I didn't want to upset him. You know what I mean? I didn't want to upset him. You know what I mean? He seemed like a really nice fan. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to upset him.
Gave me man of the match at Anfield. Have some respect.
I didn't want to upset him, right? So I told him he was good, but God, mate. You know what I mean? God. So I didn't
Anyway,
break.
should we move on now?
I didn't want to break it to him because he might start crying. You know what I mean? Oh no, then he'd be a Newcastle fan, wouldn't he? Sorry, man. I had to come at you, right? Because you've been coming at me a lot recently,
Pause.
right? So you had to get it today, man. That was a shock. That last week has been a shock
Please
to
pause.
your system.
Big pause.
Fu Wizzy, who I saw last week at that YouTube event, running up his mouth, chatting about this and that. Bro, you're missing. All of you, man. Right? You're going to win the league. So it will all end. It will all end well.
That's how you're going to win the league. Don't.
It'll all
Like-
end well in the end. But this has
But let's
been a
not
week for
write off
hell.
what Arne Slot. It has been, for sure it has been. But let's not for 1 second, like, we've lost 4 games this season. One was Forest at home. We haven't lost since that in the league, right? 26 games unbeaten in the Prem. We've lost against Plymouth. 10 changes we made in that game. Should still be enough to beat Plymouth, but you'd say that's an anomaly at that stage of the season. So far it was. You lose a heavily changed team against PSV, which makes you play PSG in the next round. You lose then against PSG in the
Plymouth.
second leg. Then I've said Plymouth,
Yeah.
and then you lose against Newcastle. Actually, across the whole season, we've had an unbelievably successful season. But bang, you lose 3 games, you're out of 3 trophies.
That's how the league goes sometimes. That's how it goes, isn't it?
And they say, oh, so he's
I've
only
seen
going to
him.
win the league
Is this
now.
why I was
Bro,
going to
have
ask the
some
question
respect for
about
what
this
he's done.
Liverpool team as a title winner? Is this why this Liverpool team, which you can say you may not expect it to slot first season, is just about
I
winning
said,
it?
get a trophy
Is
and
this
finish
why-
top 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is this why this Liverpool team are not like a top team in terms of like will this Liverpool team
If
be
you win the
remembered?
league, bro, you'll be
No, they're a
top
top
team.
team.
Yeah,
Come on,
like, that's what I'm
man.
saying.
They
Would
win
they
the
be remembered as
A
like
bit
a
of
top
respect
team?
about
they
what
just
we've
think-
done.
yeah,
what we
they-
They
will,
didn't
bro.
like challenge
Not one
on
of the-
multiple
not one of the
fronts.
best.
That's
Not
what I'm
one of-
saying. They're
yeah.
not going to be remembered as that.
But let's
But
But
to
in
win a
his
title in
first
your first
season, bro.
season,
It don't matter. If
massive.
you win the league, it's,
Massive.
it's a big achievement.
how good? What my question is, how good is this Liverpool
It's
team?
different to
running?
Jurgen Klopp's winners, right? I think Mane, Firmino, and Salah basically won us that title. We don't have. They were incredible footballers. At the minute we have good, potentially great footballers, but those guys were world class. The defense is pretty much the same. It's the midfield that actually people have respected Arne Slot for more because he's rebuilt it. Well, Jurgen Klopp rebuilt it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then Arne Slot's transitioned it into it seamlessly. But let's not write off everything he's
Newcastle
done
midfield,
because of
brilliant,
one bad
so.
week. You know,
No, you can't
it's
do
still an unbelievable achievement if we
No
win
one
the
has
Premier League.
Everyone thought,
And that's the one we want the most, bro.
Because
Like,
He's
Klopp's
done.
gone,
He's done
he-
fantastic. He's done. You know what? Funny enough, right? And this might sound weird. His bigger test might come next year when some of those key players go, like Salah.
well, do you know what?
Van
I'm
Dijk.
not even thinking of the key players. It's more like the ones on the fringes. Can
Robertsons
we
and
replace them with a
Diaz.
Kirkes and a Robertson? Can we replace maybe Jota with a,
No, you know
with
what
a
it
starter
is? It's
number
the
9?
experience going out that door, man. Like with Van Dijk,
But we
he's
don't
such
know.
an
You're
experienced
writing it
guy,
off like
such a
it's-
leader.
Like this is all happened.
thought that
and
was
you know
Klopp leaving
everything.
them.
Well, I'm just going by what Robbie Fowler said.
He played the game.
Yeah, it's not the
Christ.
best Liverpool team we've seen. It's
But-
very, very.
What we're not
yeah,
going to do
yeah,
is
let's see,
like
so-
write off
teams fell
everything
off.
he's done.
Super chat.
What's
Super
it going to be
chat.
like next year?
We'll see.